7:09. The bill giving approval for the first phase of the HS2 high-speed rail link still going through Parliament, but already the Chancellor in China, as we know, is inviting bids in effect for contracts that be worth nearly £12 billion for the project. The government is confident that HS2 is going to be approved, but as we all know, there's strong opposition, particularly among some of those who'll be in the path of the new line. They're not the only opponents, but they're some of the most vocal for obvious reasons. And the former Welsh Secretary, Cheryl Gillan, Conservative MP for Chesham and Amersham, is one of them, because Chesham and Amersham is going to be a constituency through which the line will pass. Good morning.
Good morning.
As far as George Osborne's concerned, you're not doubting, are you, that he's got every right to do this? Our parliamentary authority was given in 2013 for preparatory work for HS2, so he can do all this quite properly, can't he?
I think the point is that it's premature because, of course, the bill hasn't finished its way even through the House of Commons. It's still in committee. And certainly, the very earliest I think it could get royal assent, because it's also got to go through the House of Lords, would be the back end of next year. But it's not surprising to me because a memorandum of understanding was signed last year between the Department of Transport and its Chinese counterpart, committing to business cooperation in the rail section. So the fact that the Chancellor is out there is not surprising. However, what is surprising is that I still wonder whether this really is a priority for government, considering that they've cancelled other very important projects in the north, such as the Midlands electrification. And I also worry about the stability around this project, because we still really do not know what the new complexion Labour opposition will do.
Well, you must be looking with some hope and interest at Jeremy Corbyn on this matter.
Well, I'm always hopeful and interested, because I fundamentally don't think this is the right project in the right place at the right time. I would have started in the north, around the Northern Powerhouse.
Well, he's expressed a view that's not dissimilar in the past. I mean, it's not absolutely clear where he stands on it at the moment, but he has argued that he doesn't think that, in the past, when he's a backbencher, that for northern cities, HS2 isn't necessarily the answer. So it's rather the same kind of argument that you're making now.
Well, yes, but there's also another interesting dimension to this. The new Shadow Chancellor voted against the HS2 hybrid and paving bill and has made his views very clear on it. So for investors, it's a bit of a dilemma, because what investors really hate is instability and uncertainty. And I think that there still is political uncertainty.
Are you hoping that investors walk away?
Well, it's difficult to say. I would like to see the investors. I would like to see the investors invest in some of these northern projects which the Chancellor has on offer. He's got a pitch book out there, and I think there's
he sees the things, of course,
Central in Newcastle.
Well, he sees
the Atlantic Gateway between Liverpool and Manchester. And I've always said we should have started this in the north, getting the connectivity in the north before.
Okay, there's an argument about phasing.
To the south.
I accept it. There's obviously a strong argument for what you say, but the Chancellor's argument is, look, this is all part of a piece, and if you're going to do HS2 at some point, you simply have to get on with it, because this country's been bedevilled in all kinds of ways by a failure to deal with infrastructure projects at the time when they're needed. Heathrow was in the wrong place, no one recognised it, and now we're stuck with all this argument about runways in 2015, where other countries, sorted it out years ago. And that's his fundamental argument. It's all of a piece, and you've got to get on with it.
Yes, but if I was getting on with it, I would have got on with it starting in the north, because it's always been obvious as far as the northern economy is concerned. It's that connectivity across the Pennines, it's the connectivity between northern cities, and certainly I would encourage investors to look at that. But of course, if HS2 is on the books and starts, then we've got to remember it's got to be done properly, because you referred in your introductory remarks to my constituency, Chesham and Amersham, which is, of course, the Chilterns area of outstanding natural beauty. And although the government has agreed to tunnel part of it, it has not agreed to tunnel all of it. And I don't think that if we build projects like this in this century, if we don't do it properly to the highest environmental standards and we sacrifice part of a nationally designated area such as Chiltern, that would be absolutely wrong. So if it's going to be done, it needs to be done properly, with the investment in the right places to give us the full environmental protection that we need in this modern day and age.
Cheryl Gillan, thanks very much.
The time is now 14 minutes past 7, now 10 minutes past 8. The Chancellor, George Osborne, is today telling the Chinese why they should invest in HS2, why they should be building the bridges, tunnels and earthworks that will carry high-speed trains from London, first to Birmingham, then on to Manchester and Leeds. He describes it as a golden era of cooperation between our two countries. Well, the chief executive of High Speed 2 Limited, the company developing the line, is Simon Kirby, and he's here in the studio now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Could HS2 go ahead without Chinese money?
I think, just to be clear, the Chancellor's announced today the start of the procurement for High Speed 2 in China. This is the start of the procurement of £12 billion of contracts for the civils aspect of the programme, 230 kilometres of tunnels, bridges and earthworks. It's an open competition. It's an international competition that the Chancellor has clearly announced today in China, which is fantastic news in terms of taking the programme forward.
Okay, sorry, was I not clear? I'm just still not clear about what the clarification is.
So the clarification is today we're announcing the start of the procurement programme to really
Which is pitching
open
for the Chinese to invest in the UK in the line.
Well, I think you basically you've got a need in the UK to get the most outstanding solution we have. This is about British jobs. It's about creating 25,000 British jobs. We expect to create about 2,000 apprenticeships on the programme. We're building 2 high-speed rail colleges. But high-speed rail is new in the UK.
Okay.
Perhaps if we could just explain. China has the biggest high-speed network in the world, and this is a big strategic investment for the country. So I think it's only right we look at bringing in suppliers from across the world to collaborate with British companies to deliver an
my question remains, could it be done without Chinese money?
So the point is, today is not announcing Chinese funding of the programme.
I totally understand that, as I made the point that he's pitching to the Chinese, look, we've got this, put your money here. What I'm wondering is, from the UK's point of view, has anybody else got the money to do this?
So the current plan is for the first phase of the programme to be funded by the taxpayer. What the Chancellor's saying today, he's saying to international competition, bring your expertise, collaborate with British industry in the UK to help us deliver new technologies that don't exist in this country. It's not about investing Chinese money in high-speed rail today.
It's about what? You're saying the Chinese... Well, why is he going there? I thought, all the information we have is he's going there to get the Chinese to invest in this line.
I think your confusion is around investment and Chinese companies bidding for work on the high-speed rail line in collaboration with British companies. That's, I think, the confusion. It's not about funding the high-speed rail project. This is a significant taxpayer investment. This is about saying to international companies...
This is about paying Chinese companies and them coming up. They're bidding. They're saying, look, put the money with us.
Well, I mean, this is an open competition. High-speed rail around the world is not new. There are a number of networks. China has the biggest network. The second biggest network is in Spain. I was in Spain on Tuesday actually talking to Spanish companies. Again, they're very interested to collaborate here in the UK with British companies. But I really need to emphasise this is about British jobs.
So let me frame my question then. Sure. Can it be done without the Chinese?
I think whether it can be done without the Chinese, it's about bringing the best technology into the UK. That may be Chinese technology, it may not. The point is, it's an open competition. So today, that's a very difficult question to answer because it's an open competition. And really today we're just announcing the start of that competition.
Okay. I mean, one of the difficulties of getting anybody involved at any point, in whatever involvement, is uncertainties. Companies don't like that. And they've got plenty of other places that they can go. There are any number of uncertainties associated with this project, as you might expect at the early stages. But there's a bigger one that just came up as a result of a decision over the last month, which is that the leader of the Labour Party has said that he wants to nationalise the rail lines, and HS2 would be included in that. Does that make your job in trying to get this off the ground harder?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't want to comment too much on changes recent to the Labour Party. What I can say is the Labour Party supports the programme. We actually have cross-party support, as you've seen in various debates in the House of Commons. The new Shadow Minister, Lillian Greenwood, is very supportive of the programme. And as you heard earlier on your programme, Sir Richard Leese out in China, very supportive of High Speed 2 in terms of the need of connectivity and capacity from London to Birmingham to Leeds to Manchester. So this complements...
But doesn't the ultimate ownership of the line affect whether somebody gets involved now? And I wonder if perhaps you've had to reassure people who are wondering what's going on.
Well, ultimately, the ownership of the line is being built today by taxpayers' money. So it's an investment today in our infrastructure in this country. And I think that actually gives companies a lot of confidence that this programme is going to go ahead.
Okay.
Subject to parliamentary agreement, of course, which I'm sure we'll come on to.
Okay, well, before we do, indeed, if we have time to, one of the other big uncertainties is whether it actually even reaches the part of London that people want to go to, which is Euston. And one of the suggestions has been that actually it won't, for the first few years, you can't get it to Euston because Euston won't be redeveloped in time and it'll have to go to Old Oak Common. Well, not many people have heard of.
We're very pleased to say we announced our new plans for Euston 2 weeks ago. That's a new development at Euston. Again, I think the Chancellor was on your show earlier this week talking about the investment there. That's over £2.5 billion of investment.
Yes, my question
Euston will be ready when we open High Speed 2.
It will be. You will not have to have, for the first few years of operation, some stopgap somewhere else. It will go, the first high-speed train will go into Euston.
Well, whether it's the very first one. When we open services on the first day, services will run into Euston. Old Oak Common is very key. Old Oak Common gives people, we think about a third of our customers will get off at this place that you will hear of in the future, to catch the new Crossrail services across London, giving great connectivity to things like the City, Canary Wharf, Heathrow Airport. But on that day, Euston Station will be open, and we expect about 2/3 of our customers to go into central London.
So the doubt that was raised is just wrong. You would just say that's just not going to happen, because as you will know, that it was something raised by the High Speed 2 Minister Robert Goodwill. He said that the Euston may not be open for the start of the new service. Yeah,
I mean, there's lots of comments around these various things, but we've now announced our plans for Euston, and our plans are Euston will be open on the first day.
So the Minister got it wrong when he said that?
I think there's lots of speculation around things, and I wouldn't want to quote the Minister. I didn't hear the Minister say that.
Okay. You assumed I'm coming on to this question of timing. One thing that people might think is curious, and it's a difficulty that you've had there's been some approval for this, but the bill doesn't get royal assent until the end of 2016. How far down the line can you go in terms of issuing contracts before the bill gets royal assent?
So you're absolutely right. We're going through royal assent at the moment, and this is about maximising the time during royal assent. So we won't let the final construction contracts until we have parliamentary assent to build High Speed 2. But best practice is to get the people involved who are going to build the railway in the design process, and that's what this is about. So this is about building on experience and things like the Olympics, Crossrail, by bringing the people who are going to build High Speed 2 into the design process, bringing innovation, bringing world best practice, and really maximising that time. So when we get royal assent, as you say, we're looking at the end of 2016 at the moment, we're ready to construct, and we've maximised the time and to create the greatest product we can in the time we have, so that what we do open will be a train service like no one else has seen in this country before.
I mean, you've got quite a job on your hands. You also have quite a salary in order to deliver it. You are the UK's highest paid public servant. £750,000 is your salary. Do you feel comfortable about that?
Well, I think, you mentioned earlier a few times on the show the complexity of this programme. We're recruiting people from all over the world to create the most capable team to deliver a programme of this scale. This is the biggest infrastructure project in Europe. My role, there was an open competition. Others decided I'm the person to do this role, and others have decided will decide my performance in this role. That's for others to judge, to be quite frank. I'm really proud to be running a programme of this scale, and I'm really proud of the team we're currently building. We're actually recruiting...
The fact that it's 6 times higher than your predecessor, do you know what that would reflect? Is it that...
Well, I think the programme has gone in transition now. We're now mobilising a company, HS2 Limited, being formed to deliver this programme. And it's about recruiting the best people we can from around the world to deliver this programme on time, on budget, and deliver value to the taxpayers as soon as possible. So we're attracting people now from various industries, various backgrounds to form the team. We're actually recruiting one person a day at the moment, gaining momentum on the programme to deliver this project on time.